Why is it that so many people believe what they make is good when sometimes it's actually not? I'm going to try to answer that in this video. Recently, I've been on Kickstarter and of course YouTube, admiring the vast quantity of great ideas that are being turned into great games, both indie and AAA. But while there are many really cool, fun-looking games that are definitely going to be exciting, it seems there are even more that are not. There are many that I've seen that look so uninteresting, bland, and boring that only if I were stranded on an island would I consider wasting my time on them. And even then, I would probably just choose to talk to my volleyball friend instead. But the thing that has caught my interest is how the people making these games are so excited to show off the cool thing they're making. They believe wholeheartedly that what they're making is good, and that others will think so too. These people are suffering from Creator's Delusion. Creator's Delusion is when someone who is making something believes that thing to be of high value or quality, and more importantly, they believe that everyone else will think so too. Whether this thing they are making is actually valuable or not doesn't matter. I know that something having value can come down to personal opinion, but that's just it. Creators suffering from Creator's Delusion believe that everyone is going to have a personal opinion over their creation that matches their own. I'm not going to show you any examples here because if someone is going to have a harder time showing off their game, it won't be because I was putting them down and saying their game is awful. But I'm sure you can think of plenty of examples, and I'm sure you can find lots of games on Steam or itch.io that are, shall we say, lacking. But this applies to any creative outlet. I'm sure we have all eaten something that a very excited chef has prepared and quickly washed our mouth out with gasoline because somehow gasoline tastes better. Or listened to a piece of music composed by a passionate composer only to wonder why they're calling it music at all. The question is, why and how do these people think that their not so great stuff is super great? And is it possible that I am one of them? Is the game I'm making or you're making not as good as we think it is? I think to answer that, we need to answer this question. What is the cause of Creator's Delusion? I'm going to set aside pride and egotism, which I believe contribute, but my YouTube channel is not necessarily a self-help channel. So let's just recognize those as personality characteristics that we all need to work on and move on to my theory. Since the increase of the free-to-use game engines, there has been a movement some have called the rise of the indie game. I know, sounds dramatic, right? But it's not untrue. More people than ever have access to easier to use software. But this is not the direct cause of Creator's Delusion. Creator's Delusion has existed far longer than that. But I would say that it is an indirect cause of Creator's Delusion, at least in people making games. Let me explain why. Game engines, once you know how to use them, are fun. They are like games in themselves, the ultimate sandbox game that lets you make your own games. Every time I'm making a game, it's so fun. It's puzzle solving, world building creativity. I love making games as much as I love to play them, and I'm sure most other people enjoy it as much as I do. I would suggest that this is the cause of Creator's Delusion. Maybe people enjoy the process of creating something so much that they then associate that enjoyment with how others will perceive their game. The unconscious thought they are having is, my game is fun to make, therefore it will be fun to play. So if we are suffering from Creator's Delusion, how can we come to know if we are making a game people, including ourselves, will like? Here are some ideas. Find someone who is trusted and will give you honest feedback, not someone who just wants to make you feel good and say what you want to hear. And get the opinion of many people and be humble enough to take their feedback, but be sure to ask them for their all-out honest opinion. Make a list of things that you want your game to have and your intended audience to feel as they play your game. Try to empathize with that audience and look at your game as they would while fulfilling this list. There's nothing really wrong with suffering from Creator's Delusion, as long as we can come to understand the true value of our game, or whatever else it might be that we're making, by the time we finish. If nothing else, we had fun making it and surely learned a lot for the next one. Don't take this as a message that you should stop if you feel your game is not good enough. On the contrary, keep going. understanding Creator's Delusion and having conversations about it can only help us be better game devs. Having fun creating is more important than creating nothing at all because of a fear of rejection. So embrace it and become better.